There's something most men never notice, a behavior so subtle yet powerful that it can flip a hidden switch in her mind. It's not about beauty, status, or catchphrases, but rather a rare energy that sets you apart from everyone else. It's this factor that transforms an ordinary man into someone impossible to forget. The problem: most live their entire lives without understanding this code. Those who learn it are never treated as an option again. This is why she simply can't stop thinking about a specific man, even when so many others pass through her life and are quickly forgotten, as if they never existed. It's not luck, it's not coincidence. It's the activation of that mental switch, which captures focus, creates longing, and transforms curiosity into silent obsession. While some fade from memory, others become a constant presence, even from a distance. This isn't a myth, it's a pattern. When you flip that switch, she doesn't just feel attraction, she experiences obsession. It all starts as innocent curiosity, but quickly turns into intense focus. That focus, over time, turns into longing, and longing into an almost uncontrollable urge to get closer. The cycle is automatic, biological, and nearly impossible to combat. It's not about getting attention, it's about awakening an energy she can't explain but feels deeply. But here's a warning almost no one has the courage to give. Once you learn to activate this mechanism, don't abuse your power. The same trigger that creates deep desire can create unhealthy dependence and even emotional chaos. The line between fascination and destruction is tenuous, and only those who understand this can take responsibility. Using this code unconsciously can destroy what you most desire. Power without ethics always exacts its price. Today I'll show you what this is, why it works so deeply in the female mind, and how to use it without ever losing your soul in the process. More than a technique, it's a state of presence that redefines your value. But there's a clear line between power and abuse. Here, the goal isn't to manipulate, but to awaken the best in you and her. By the end, you'll understand exactly how to master this code responsibly. If all this is real, the question remains: how to activate this power without getting lost along the way. Pay attention, because in the next few minutes I'll give you the complete map, step by step, no shortcuts. And if you want to master CRR without falling into manipulation traps, subscribe to the channel now. Here you'll learn true emotional control, not cheap tricks but tools to transform your value from the inside out. From an early age you were taught, be attentive, respond quickly, and prove how interested you are. The nice guy always wins in the movies, so of course he should win in real life, right? But the real world doesn't follow the script of romantic comedies. The more you try to demonstrate your worth with approval and total availability, the more predictable and unimpressive you become. What works in fiction often makes you invisible in practice. In practice, the more you chase her, the faster she loses interest. It's a cruel paradox. Predictability destroys all tension, and hyper-availability stifles the mystery that keeps desire alive. You go from being an exciting experience to becoming routine. Someone always available, always predictable. Her brain switches off and seeks new stimuli. Without challenge, there's no chemistry. Without mystery, there's no desire to discover more. You end up becoming just scenery, useful, cute, always there, and therefore you become invisible to her eyes. Without any kind of emotional friction, there's no stimulus for her brain to prioritize you among so many others. Constant predictability turns you into a supporting character in her own story. She only misses what challenges her, what poses some risk. Too much presence makes your absence meaningless. What truly captures her attention isn't neediness, but a strong presence. It's the feeling that you're in control of yourself, your time, and your world, independent of her. This type of man inspires admiration because he exudes security and autonomy. She instinctively senses that she's in the presence of someone rare, someone who doesn't depend on approval to exist. The mystery isn't in disappearing, but in living for something greater than pleasing. If the nice guy fails due to excessive predictability, what really works is a completely different energetic field, something she senses even before she rationally understands it. It's not about acting scripted or feigning detachment, but about cultivating a magnetic, centered presence that challenges and inspires at the same time. It's this field that sparks genuine interest. Before desire arises, she already senses that you're different from everyone else. And this is exactly where this comes in. Not as a theater technique or a superficial trick, but as a state of being that completely changes her reading of you. It's not performance, it's essence. When you embody CRR, your presence becomes effortlessly magnetic, and she feels it instinctively. This isn't about playing games, but about becoming someone she genuinely respects and desires. It's authenticity, not acting. Think of this as a simple yet powerful framework you can practice every day. CRR, unwavering calm, controlled unpredictability, self-rhythm. These three pillars together create a magnetic field that's hard to resist. It's not about being cold or distant, but about never losing focus in the face of her emotions. Those who master CRR gain respect, desire, and peace all at once. The game shifts. Unshakable calm. Your inner peace doesn't waver with her moods or external pressures. You don't react impulsively out of anxiety. You respond consciously, by choice. This quiet serenity communicates emotional leadership and confidence, showing that you're not a hostage to the chaos around you. A woman instinctively realizes she's in the presence of someone who isn't easily shaken. True calm attracts and reassures, without effort or posturing. Controlled unpredictability. She knows who you are, feels safe in your presence, but never predicts exactly what your next move will be. You don't disappear on purpose, nor are you constantly clinging to her. You alternate presence and distance with intention and balance. This dynamic creates healthy tension and keeps her interest alive. The key is not to be predictable or chaotic, but to act with purpose and authenticity. Own pace. Your life has its own rhythm, and your schedule doesn't revolve around its whims. You invite, but never beg or expect approval to exist. Those with a full life, mission, hobbies, and friends don't compete for crumbs of attention. They offer abundance. This independence inspires respect and desire because it shows you're in control of your own destiny. Those who lead their own pace are always remembered. Practical example. She presses for an immediate response, wanting to test your limits. You don't ignore her, make excuses, or rush to justify yourself. Instead, you respond in your own time, clearly and respectfully. I'll talk at 7 p.m. This simple gesture shows that you value your own pace and don't let yourself be overwhelmed by anxiety. It's the combination of calm, firmness, and consideration that activates true respect. CRR is the how of this equation, the practical method you can apply. But we still need to understand the why of this set of attitudes so deeply affecting the female mind. This is where neurolearning comes in, explaining the roots of desire, focus, and even obsession. There's a biological and emotional logic behind it all, and when you understand it, you gain real power. The next chapter unravels this invisible mechanism. The brain doesn't fall in love by decree or logic. It learns to prioritize experiences that combine excitement, unpredictability, and reward. This chemistry is activated when the relationship blends security and challenge, creating an environment impossible to ignore. It's not enough to be stable or impactful. It's the mix of predictability and surprise that captures attention. Desire is built by the reward system, not by routine or excessive certainty. The irregular reward creates a constant search. When will it come? How much will it come? Why? The uncertain interval between moments of attention, affection, or surprise triggers the brain's dopaminergic system to go into vigilance mode. It pays attention to every signal, waiting for the next dose of emotion. It's this pattern of variable reinforcement that's addictive, not the excess presence, but the mystery of not knowing when or how it will be rewarded. Interest grows in uncertainty. Its calmness conveys security, while its unpredictability brings challenge. Together, these two elements create the variable reinforcement that triggers emotional addiction. This is the same principle that keeps people hooked on games, social media feeds, gambling, and binge-watching TV shows. The brain clings to what is unpredictable yet reliable. It's not magic, it's pure neuroscience. Alternating tension and reward capture attention like nothing else. But here, the algorithm isn't a machine or an app. It's you. The experience of being by your side is never boring or chaotic. It's lively, dynamic, and engaging. You become the stimulus she yearns to decipher, offering stability without becoming monotonous, and surprise without becoming a mess. This blend makes your presence memorable. The man who masters this balance becomes an emotional reference, not just a companion. Curiosity turns into focus. Focus turns into longing. Longing turns into a desire to return. This cycle seems like magic, but it's not witchcraft. It's just the reward pattern at work. When you offer this kind of stimulation, she finds herself thinking of you even when she tries to avoid you. It's not about external control, but about understanding how desire is built internally. The secret lies in the healthy repetition of this cycle. not in manipulation. If it works this way, the inevitable question arises: what is the safe limit for using this power? Because it only takes the wrong dose to turn fascination into wound, desire into anxiety, and curiosity into trauma. The balance between magnetism and respect is delicate, and crossing that line destroys everything you've built. It's crucial to understand how far to go, so as not to trade admiration for resentment. The next step is to define that boundary. The same trigger that ignites desire can, if misused, generate anxiety, dependence, and intense emotional reactivity. The line between healthy fascination and psychological harm is thin, and responsibility is key. Wielding this power requires awareness. It's not about manipulation, but about building a connection that elevates both. Crossing this line can turn what was once magical into chaos. Knowing how far to go is the true sign of maturity. The limit is simple to explain, but difficult to practice. Tension that elevates is not the same as tension that hurts. CRR cannot become punishment, strategic disappearance, or emotional torture disguised as a mystery. The ethical guideline is to use its axis to inspire, not to punish. If your intention is to create mutual growth, you build. If it's to hurt or control, you destroy. Respect for the other always determines how far to go. Controlled unpredictability is not the same as calculated chaos or cold manipulation. It's acting with clear intention, not with sadism disguised as charm. Having your own rhythm doesn't mean using the silent punishment as a weapon. The goal is to keep the field healthy with mutual respect and never fuel destructive insecurity. A mature man understands that emotional leadership requires constant accountability. The secret lies in intention, not in the game. If you misuse this power, you destroy three fundamental pillars at once: respect, trust, and even your own self-respect. Gaining power at the expense of these values isn't a victory. It's self-sabotage. The negative impact can be irreversible, both for her and for you. There's no point in mastering techniques if you lose your essence along the way. The real game is maintaining integrity while building desire. Otherwise, all that's left is emptiness. So keep this in mind. It's not about making her suffer or using suffering as currency, but rather about keeping your bearings firm, even in tense moments. She's addicted to your peace, to the feeling of stability and quiet strength, never to your cruelty or manipulation. True desire is born of trust and mutual respect. Those who confuse power with conferring lose everything that matters in the end. Choose to be a role model, not a tormentor. I'll give you the practical, clear, and applicable rule at the end of this video. But first, let me show you how all this manifests in real life. In small actions, in everyday conversations, in the silent tests that few recognize. It's in practice that true understanding happens, not in theory. Stay with me until the end, because only those who see these details will truly master the game of respect and desire. He did everything right. Good morning, good night, long answers, excuses for every delay. Always trying to show how much he cared. But with each new effort, she became colder, more distant, as if something was wrong and he couldn't figure out what. This is the nice guy trap no one tells you about. If that's clear to you, sign up now, because the practical part of the script starts from here. One day, he decided to change just one thing. He stopped reacting out of anxiety. He remained attentive, but he stopped explaining himself for everything, like someone who apologizes simply for existing. He realized that the need for justification only reinforced his insecurity. With this simple shift in attitude, his energy shifted completely. He stopped seeking approval and started acting from his own perspective, and that's when everything began to change. He kept up with his training, stuck to his projects, and respected his sleep schedule, without sacrificing what was important to him. When he scheduled dates, he did so in advance, demonstrating organization and respect for his own time. If she canceled at the last minute, he didn't react with punishment or drama. He simply moved on, without depending on her approval or presence to feel complete. This attitude made all the difference. Faced with unnecessary provocations or arguments, he simply said, "When this calms down, we'll talk maturely." He didn't engage in chaos, nor did he respond with anxiety or irritation. Instead of fueling the drama, he invited it into order, making it clear that he only participates in what makes sense. This calm and firm response showed that his center wasn't shaken by fleeting emotions. He became a reference, not a reactive one. 2 weeks were enough for the dynamic to shift. She went from confident to curious, from distant to increasingly present. She began dressing up more, showing signs of interest, and sending "What's up?" messages for no apparent reason. Her behavior began to change without him needing to press her or chase her. The lack of anxiety opened the door for desire to rekindle. When he changed his attitude, she changed her energy. She couldn't explain what she was feeling, only a growing longing for something she could no longer control. It wasn't coldness or indifference on his part. It was centeredness, presence, self-sufficiency. Centeredness is what separates ordinary men from those who leave deep scars. The mystery wasn't in his detachment, but in his quiet steadfastness. It's this energy, rare and hard to fake, that truly attracts and holds her attention. The signs that the switch has flipped are subtle but unmistakable. She starts pulling you closer and then pushing you away, alternating between affection and distance. It's not sloppiness or confusion, but an instinctive consistency check. She wants to feel if your axis is real or just a facade. This game of approaching and withdrawing isn't random. It's a biological test. If you maintain posture, she only gets closer. Passive-aggressive messages start to appear. Phrases like, "I forgot you existed," or small, ironic comments, even without real reason. The truth is, she hasn't forgotten. She's testing whether your peace depends on her, or whether you remain centered. Each provocation is a way of measuring your emotional stability. The more you show that your value doesn't waver, the more curious she becomes. Interest grows where there is mystery and solidity. Many dramas arise for no concrete reason. Innocent delays and small tests of boundaries in everyday life. It's not sabotage or a desire to destroy you. She just wants to see if your CRR is genuine or just for show. These behaviors are unconscious ways of checking consistency, not direct attacks. If you react with balance, she feels safe and respected. The whole game revolves around coherence between words and actions. This is what keeps the switch on. Your response is the game changer. You don't text, you don't beg for attention. You don't respond with irony or drama. You simply set a time, maintain a firm posture, and go about your day as normal. This calm and clarity cut through the game cycle and increase her admiration. The secret is to be consistent, without losing your center. This is how you show value without needing to speak. Your actions speak for you. Each time her peace remains unshaken by tests or provocations, her brain records a clear message. Here is presence. Here is value. This unconscious recording is what keeps her focus on you. Even when she tries to pull away, it's not the intensity of her words but the stability of her actions that holds her attention. Inner peace becomes her trademark, and that's what makes you impossible to ignore. And when these signs begin to emerge, the question becomes practical: how to respond without becoming a character or falling into a forced performance. The secret lies in behaviors that build respect without losing authenticity. Now it's time to understand and practice how to maintain your essence and navigate these trials without losing your way. Let's get straight to the point. What attitudes elevate your presence and make you truly memorable? And when these signs begin to emerge, the question becomes practical: how to respond without becoming a character or falling into a forced performance. The secret lies in behaviors that build respect without losing authenticity. Now it's time to understand and practice how to maintain your essence and navigate these trials without losing your way. Let's get straight to the point. What attitudes elevate your presence and make you truly memorable? Always speak briefly and clearly. Avoid endless justifications or unnecessary explanations. Simply say, "I'll call you at 7 p.m. If that doesn't happen, I'll react." Clarity is sexy because it shows self-confidence and respect for one's own time. Excessive words reveal insecurity, while direct communication creates admiration. Being objective, without being cold, makes her see you as someone who knows what they want, and that captures attention more than any speech. Keep your routine alive. Train, work, spend time with friends, study, and invest in yourself. A full life is the foundation of self-rhythm. Only then can you remain whole, without revolving around someone else. When your schedule is empty, you revert to neediness, begging for attention. Autonomy attracts, dependence repels. The secret is to make your own path the center, not her approval. Those who live for themselves never lose value, appreciate without flattery, genuinely praise, acknowledge what you admire, but without forced exaggeration, without crowing, and without trying to buy approval. Sincere recognition keeps the game fair, builds mutual respect, and doesn't put you in a lower position. Flattery reveals insecurity, while genuine praise shows maturity. Only those who appreciate honestly can build a true connection. Admiration is earned, not begged. Say no when necessary, without raising your voice, without threats, and without holding a grudge. Calmly established boundaries are a sign of strength and maturity, not coldness. Respect grows when you show that you know how far you can go and aren't afraid to speak out. Calm boundaries stabilize the emotional landscape and create a safe atmosphere for both parties. Those who command respect without losing their composure are always truly admired. This is the doing, the actions that build respect and desire in a healthy way. But just as important as knowing what to do is understanding what to avoid, so you don't cross the line and destroy everything. Small slips can turn power into loss, admiration into distance. Now it's time to learn about the behaviors that sabotage the effect of CRR and undermine any chance of true connection. Let's get straight to the point of what can bring you down. Punitive silence used to teach a lesson, doesn't educate, it traumatizes. Pauses and separations are only healthy when they help you regain your bearings, reflect or regain calm, never to hurt or manipulate the other person. When silence is used as a weapon, it breeds resentment and distrust, not respect. What should be self-care becomes emotional punishment, sabotaging the entire connection built up until that point. Induced jealousy, whether through provocative stories, innuendo, or games, may even work in the short term, but it almost always breaks trust forever. The effect is devastating. The bond loses depth, respect disappears, and only insecurity remains. Momentary hype never compensates for destroying the foundation of the relationship. Remember, respect, trust, and peace of mind are worth much more than superficial validation. Don't trade the essential for the ephemeral. Disappearing without explanation isn't charming. It only confuses and wears you down. Controlled unpredictability doesn't mean becoming a ghost, but acting with conscious and intentional gestures. Disappearing out of nowhere conveys immaturity and insecurity, destroying the trust you've built. Healthy mystery lies in balancing presence and autonomy, never in creating corrosive doubts. Those who disappear to test or manipulate end up alone. A mature relationship requires clarity, not childish games. Constant sarcasm and veiled humiliation build nothing. They become defensiveness, hurt, and silent anger. Using your intelligence to belittle another destroys respect and poisons the emotional field. True power lies in using your wit to illuminate, not to wound. Sharp words can be a bridge or a weapon. You choose the impact. A healthy relationship is an environment of mutual growth, not competition or resentment disguised as joke. If RCC becomes an attempt to control the other person, you've completely lost your bearings. The true meaning of RCC is self-control applied to the bond, mastery over yourself, not over those around you. This adjustment changes everything. When the focus is on your core, you inspire and elevate. When it becomes manipulation, you destroy and alienate. Don't seek external control. Seek internal balance. Only then will respect endure and grow naturally. The line between emotional leadership and manipulation is subtle, almost invisible in everyday life. To never cross this line, you need a simple, memorable, and easy-to-follow ethical guideline. It's this clarity of principles that ensures your power is healthy, not destructive. The next step is to master these rules and apply them even in tense moments. Only then will you protect yourself and those around you. First rule: no emotional punishment. Breaks are only valuable when they serve a purpose. They serve to calm down, reflect, or choose the right words. Don't use separation as a weapon to make you miss someone or punish. Respect is about acting intentionally, not manipulating emotions. Want access to the error-proof rule to never fall into this trap again? Subscribe to the channel and save this video. Your maturity starts here. Second rule: no jealousy. Creating artificial triangles, making insinuations, or trying to provoke insecurity is cheap fireworks. It may even generate a reaction, but it's always shallow and destructive. True maturity is more exciting than any childish provocation. Respect is born when you don't need games to be interesting. Emotional security is what truly differentiates unforgettable men from insecure boys. Third rule: mission first, whole person always. Never abandon your life purpose to please or retain someone, and never dehumanize the bond in the name of control. A healthy relationship is built between whole people, not pawns in a power game. We come before any strategy or manipulation. Only those with a clear mission and values can maintain their own essence without losing the respect of those around them. Fourth rule: communicate your limits clearly and calmly. Phrases like, "I don't tolerate yelling. I'll talk when there's respect," are powerful because they create structure, not threats. Calmly stated limits demonstrate self-control and maturity. You don't need to shout or instill fear to be respected. Respect grows when there's clarity about what's non-negotiable. Good communicators don't need to fight to be heard. They just need to be consistent. Fifth rule, calm the system. Have you noticed anxiety or dependence growing, either in her or in you? Reduce unpredictability and increase clarity, care, and presence. Responsibility is part of true power. It's not about maintaining tension at any cost, but about ensuring a safe emotional environment for both of you. A mature man knows how to adjust his pace as needed. This builds trust without sacrificing magnetism. Because in the end, true power isn't in getting her addicted, but in being the man she respects and desires without having to lose you to value you. The goal isn't to create dependency, but to build a relationship based on admiration and freedom. Learn this code, use it responsibly, and never abuse its impact. Your presence should uplift, not imprison. Those who understand this never need to manipulate to be unforgettable.